The drama surrounding Dakota Ditcheva didn't start with a punch. It started with a dismissal. A sentence thrown out with confidence, the kind that sounds convincing until reality interrupts it. Take away her last name and no one's even talking about her. It was the kind of statement designed to shrink someone, to strip away everything they've built and reduce it to circumstance. Not skill, not work, not dominance, just luck, just background. And for a moment, it hung in the air like it might actually mean something. Because in combat sports, perception is everything before the fight. Records can be debated, performances can be reinterpreted, but confidence, especially loud confidence, has a way of shaping narratives before a single strike is thrown. And Carrie Isom leaned fully into that narrative. She didn't just question Dakota's abilities, she dismissed them entirely. Framed her as a product of hype rather than substance, someone riding a name instead of building one. What made it more dangerous was that she wasn't speaking from ignorance. She had already faced Dakota once before, in the amateurs. She had already felt what it was like to be in there with her. And yet somehow, that experience didn't lead to caution. It led to confidence, the kind of confidence that convinces you the past doesn't apply anymore, that this time will be different, that you've seen something others haven't. But the truth about Dakota Ditcheva doesn't reveal itself in words. It reveals itself in sequences, in moments that happen too fast to fully process until it's already over. Long before the professional lights found her, Dakota had built a foundation that didn't rely on hype. Her amateur career wasn't just impressive, it was precise. A Muay Thai specialist with a style built on pressure and punishment, she developed a reputation for elbows that sliced through defenses and knees that didn't just land, but echoed. Every strike carried intention, every movement had purpose. And when she transitioned into mixed martial arts, that foundation didn't weaken. It expanded. In their first encounter, Dakota didn't just beat Isom. She controlled her, took her into positions that felt inevitable rather than forced. On the ground, she moved with a calm efficiency that made everything look effortless, advancing position, locking control, and eventually finding the submission. It wasn't chaotic, it was methodical, the kind of performance that signals something deeper than talent, understanding. And yet when the rematch came in the professional ranks, the narrative flipped. Suddenly that dominance became irrelevant. Suddenly the past was dismissed. Suddenly Dakota wasn't the proven fighter. She was the overrated one. That's the thing about bold claims in this sport. They sound powerful right up until the cage door closes. By the time Dakota made her professional debut, she had already begun to show glimpses of what was coming. Against her first opponent, she didn't ease into the fight. She imposed herself immediately. Strikes came sharp, fast, and accurate. Leg kicks that disrupted balance. Elbows that cut through openings the moment they appeared. Knees that landed with a kind of authority that forced reactions, not choices. It wasn't just a win. It was a statement of intent. A signal that her transition to the professional level wouldn't slow her down. So when the fight with Isom was finally set, it wasn't just another bout. It was a collision between perception and reality. The atmosphere carried tension, but Dakota didn't. She walked in composed, almost detached, as if the noise surrounding the fight didn't belong to her. On the other side, Isom carried the energy of someone who believed the narrative she had built. Someone who thought this was her moment to expose something hidden. But from the very first exchange, the difference became impossible to ignore. Dakota didn't rush. She didn't need to. She picked her shots with the same precision that had defined her rise. A kick landed clean, snapping through the guard. Then another, each one forcing Isom to adjust, to rethink, to react. And that's where Dakota thrives. In that space where opponents stop acting and start responding. The distance closed and suddenly the fight shifted into Dakota's world. The clinch. The place where her Muay Thai background becomes something far more dangerous than just technique. It becomes control. Knees drove into the body with a rhythm that felt relentless. Not wild, not desperate. Controlled, measured, but punishing. Elbows followed, sharp and precise, opening cuts that told their own story. Every second in that position drained Isom further, both physically and mentally, because it wasn't just the damage, it was the inevitability of it. Isom tried to push forward, to force exchanges, to prove she belonged in that moment, and to her credit, she didn't fold immediately. She kept coming, throwing back, searching for something that could change the tide. But every attempt ran into the same wall, Dakota's composure. There was no panic, no hesitation, just adaptation. Every forward movement from Isom was met with something sharper. A knee up the middle, an elbow on the entry, a strike that didn't just land, but stopped momentum entirely. And as the fight wore on, the gap between them didn't close. It widened. The cage became smaller for Isom, not physically, but strategically. Every option led back into danger. Every movement created another opening for Dakota to exploit. And eventually, the damage became too clear to ignore. Blood, exhaustion, and pressure all converging into a single undeniable conclusion. The referee stepped in. Just like that, the narrative collapsed. The fighter who was supposed to be overrated had just delivered another dominant performance. The opponent, who dismissed, her had been systematically broken down in front of everyone watching. And the statement that started it all, the one meant to diminish, now felt hollow, almost ironic. Because in combat sports, there's one rule that overrides everything else. You can say anything before the fight. You can build any narrative you want. But once it starts, only one thing matters. Proof. And Dakota Ditcheva doesn't just provide proof, she enforces it. What makes her rise so compelling isn't just the wins, it's the consistency of how they happen, the control, the precision, the ability to take chaos and turn it into structure. She doesn't rely on moments of luck or flashes of brilliance. She builds outcomes step by step, breaking opponents down until there's nothing left to argue, and that's what makes moments like this so powerful. Not just because someone talked and got humbled, but because it reveals something deeper about Dakota herself. A fighter who doesn't need to respond to disrespect with words. A fighter who lets the fight answer everything, because by the time it's over, there's nothing left to say. So now the question shifts again. Not about whether Dakota Ditcheva is the real deal. That's already been answered. But about how far this trajectory can go. How many more opponents will step in believing they've found the flaw, and how many of them will leave realizing the same thing, that there was never a flaw to begin with.